Hello, Steeler fans. Today, Bowser Sports is going to hit on the Steelers running back position. Who is going to be RB1 in 2025? I don't believe that'll be Najee Harris after 4 years. I don't think especially this season that just played out, I don't think he's going to be the really fit that Arthur Smith offense, right? And so as a result, you've got an opportunity with Jaylen Warren returning, likely with a second round tender, and so you got an opportunity here to address the team. I do think the team's depth is definitely something that needs to be addressed. Behind Warren, there's really nothing there that I believe it'll be competitive for Warren in long term with him only having potentially a 1 year contract maybe coming out of this year, though I think Warren will probably, look for a multi-year deal, but you never know. And basic on what we're going to talk about today, it comes with the assumption that the quarterback position is going to be resolved heading into free agency, heading into the draft, that we know who that first and probably, second string quarterback is going to be. I still make the assumption it'll be Justin Fields as the starter, and then potentially maybe a Marcus Mariota as a backup, or maybe the team does wait until the draft for that backup. Though I just don't see that if the team decides to go on a short-term deal with Fields. And so the running back position is not going to be the priority, I believe, coming into free agency to start. I think the team obviously has got to make sure they get their quarterback done. But quickly after that, they've got to look at wide receiver, defensive back, running back, and I think it's a pretty strong draft coming with the D line. The wide receivers are a little weak, and then D backs are pretty good. Tight ends are good, though I don't think the Steelers in their top four picks are gonna go after a tight end. So I do think if the Steelers do make a pick coming up, I think with the running back, I do think it'll hit more the fourth round, and we'll come on here in a minute with a few of those guys. Who's in the draft and where I think maybe that potential fit comes into play. Steelers have 8 picks overall, and so it could. I really do think it'll be anywhere in that most likely fourth or later rounds to address the position, unless of course the team is very active in free agency and addresses some of these positions early in free agency, so they have quality, and so they can really target really best player available, early in a draft. So though I don't think D line will be anything they'll address in free agency, I think so D line is probably going to be the first round pick if I had to guess, based upon just the way the strength of that draft is and the unlikelihood of finding a long term replacement for Cam Hayward or a nose tackle so that Keanu Benton can move over. So with that, let's take a look more on the running backs that we have here. So in free agency, I really think the only two guys I have any interest is Javonte Williams coming out of college at North Carolina. I was really high on this guy. Good speed, power mix. Just didn't put it together in Denver. And he's only 25, so he's still relatively young. He hasn't had huge amount of carries in these few seasons with the Broncos, and so with his size being about 6 foot 220, I think he fits about that range where you want in a running back. And then on the other side of the coin here is JK Dobbins on the Chargers. We should be very familiar, being a former Baltimore Raven. I do think this is a guy the Steelers will probably rank higher than Williams, even though he's a year older. Dobbins, that is, and so I see him as a potential, 1A, 1B, just, play it out at camp and see who wins type of position. And so I think that would be the advantage for the Steelers, is that, if they do plan to target some other positions in the draft, and want to get another running back, it allows them to wait to that fourth or later round. And so I do think Dobbins is going to be the guy from a free agent perspective, though he could attract attention and then may get into a bidding war. Though I think, he may look for his best spot, which may still be with the Chargers, considering that offensive line that they have out there under Jim Harbaugh. So So that's a little bit of the picture of free agency. Typically, you don't really put a lot of stock into free agents at a running back position, and so the next spot is the running backs in the draft. It's a pretty good draft. Ashton Genty is not going to be there, highly doubtful at 21, and so I do think from a likelihood early in the draft, I don't see anything really falling beyond Genty in the first round, and then it just becomes what teams are trying to pick up and draft as positional needs in that second and third round. So Kaleb Johnson out of Iowa is definitely one guy. He's a little bit bigger, just over 6'1", 224, runs good, ideal fit from an experience perspective, running the outside or wide zone system that Arthur Smith runs. And so again, if the Steelers are looking to get a number one running back and decides to not go heavily invested into the free agent market and wants to really get someone to really be competitive against up against Jaylen Warren, I think Kaleb Johnson from Iowa is the top guy. Second ranking here is from North Carolina, Marion Hampton. Again, he's a bigger running back, 6', 220, good speed as well. He's another guy I think who's going to be a second round running back. And then what I have third again is another guy, Devin Neal from Kansas. I think he's most likely a third, fourth round pick. He again much better fit into the zone type of offense that the Steelers are running. And again, if he's not there, a guy out of Miami Hurricanes, Damian Martinez, similar build. Again, we're talking a guy, 6 foot, 217, plays again with an offense that can fit. He was at Oregon State, came to Miami, so he's got experience switching systems and things of that nature. So we'll see what the Steelers do here. I think it is very important that if you're trying to win now, which in all likelihood, if you listen to Omar Khan this week at the training combine or the combine, he's definitely saying they got to win, right? And it was unacceptable, can't happen again type of thing with all the losing they had here in December to finish the season off and losing into the playoffs and getting embarrassed by the Ravens. So I would look for the Steelers to really target productive, dynamic players who can run, they can block, catch the ball out of the backfield. So we shall see what happens, but that is it for today for the Steelers and the thought process with the running back position. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If so, please give us a like, share it, subscribe, leave a comment, and please interact and have some fun with this channel here and build out a community here. So until next time, thank you and have a good one.